Hi everybody. I know I'm looking a little rough this evening, but the truth is that it has been a pretty rough day for me mentally. I've been thinking about my mission for my YouTube channel, and my two main goals is to educate people about the Catholic faith, and secondly, to support and encourage those who are on a path of faith, of Christian faith, whether you be Christian or Catholic. And I think that in order to do that effectively, I can't just let you see me when everything is great. When my face is made up just so and my hair is just so and I have such a good message to tell, something inspiring and uplifting, and maybe teach you something you hadn't learned before. The truth is that life is kind of messy, and there are days that we know that God is in control. We know that we can trust Him. We know that He loves us. And yet we just can't really feel His presence. And today has been one of those kinds of days for me. I have to tell you, on a lighter note, on a not so light note, our water heater went out 2 days ago, and I've taken a cold bath. That was not really pleasant. It was a great opportunity to offer it up as I preach. But this evening, I just really needed a warm bath. So I boiled 3 big pots of water on the stove and dumped it into my bathtub. And I was very surprised at the amount of cool water it took to make the water tepid enough that I could actually get in. So I did it just like they did back in the pioneer days, and guess what? It works. It was not a big deal. It was a small pleasure, but something that I was very grateful for today. So why am I struggling today? Why am I down in the dumps? We had a second offer on our home fall through this week, and I had already told you about the water heater flooding my garage and needing to replace that. That was an unexpected expense, but to be honest, it's really not about either one of those things, though both of those would be enough to, put you in a bad mood for sure. Really, it's more about, for me, am I following the way that God wants me to follow? Am I discerning properly? Have I brought any of this anxiety and stress upon my family and myself? Maybe inadvertently, or maybe because I'm trying to help God with the situation, as if He needs any help from me, as if I could be of any help to Him. This is kind of personal, and I've shared with just a few of people who are the closest to me. And I can't share the whole thing because some of it is very personal. But there have been some times in my adult life in prayer, usually while in adoration, or sometimes when I'm sleeping or awaking from sleep, that I have gotten a message. And I don't really know how to explain it. Sometimes it's a voice that I can hear inside of my body that's not my own. It's not from the outside, not from my ears. And sometimes it might just be that I'm praying and I'm really deep in prayer, and a word or a few words will kind of come to me like out of the blue. And in many cases, these messages or voices have come to pass. They've come to fruition. So that leads me to believe, although all messages, or all things we think we're getting from heaven or from God, or all of those must be discerned, because surely the devil can trick us, and I am very aware of that. So anyway, in 2015, 5 years ago, I was in the Adoration Chapel, and I was very deep in prayer. I was praying the rosary, and suddenly I heard a voice speaking to me. And the really unusual thing for me that let me know that it was different, or that it wasn't coming from myself, I don't think, is that strangely I was able to have a conversation with this voice. At the same time, I was able to continue praying the rosary, which is like, I'm not super good at multitasking in the real world, so I really don't know how that happened. But anyway, among the few things that I was told was that my family, God was getting my family ready for a move, but that it was not yet. It was not going to be in 2015. Once we were moved, we were going to be in a piece of land that had a house on it that was not glamorous, were the words, but would have all that we need, and that we were to consecrate the land to Our Lady of Refuge, because people would be coming there during times of difficulty to take refuge, to take refuge. And I was told that to look for something in particular, so that I would know that it was the place, and that when the time was right, things would just fall into place, and that money would not be a problem. Well, you see, back in March, we had put an offer on a little house in the country on 1.5 acres. It was just the right price. It was a great location, convenient to school and work, and our parents. And anyway, they accepted our offer. It was contingent on the sale of our house, but the problem was that we didn't have our house up for sale yet. So we put our house up for sale, and a couple days later they got a better offer, and it fell through. So we had to pray about whether or not to keep our house on the market. And after some prayer and discussing with family members, we decided to keep our house on the market. Anyway, this whole time we have asked God to open doors and close doors. And I'm pretty sure we just had 2 doors close in our face. And I don't know if it's just like not the right time, or not the right place, or what. So my difficulty today, my sadness was, am I being true to what I believe I heard from God, and or have I caused some of this stress and anxiety myself, kind of inadvertently, or trying to help God out? So that's where I am with that. I also would like to mention something to you that I've contemplated. I read this book last summer called The Benedict Option, and I really loved the idea. Now, just because I love the idea doesn't mean the idea in reality would be so wonderful.